But this lighting might work. I like the little shadow, it makes it dramatic. Today, we're talking about the beginning. But we can't have the conversation of the beginning without the end. And vice versa. And most importantly, the transitions. So where do we start? Do we start from the end or do we start from the beginning? Just to make it very clear, let's just be present. Most importantly, rule number one, no rules. Way of life, pattern frequency number one. Gratitude in the presence has a lot of power, right? And this isn't me telling you something I learned from somebody else. Anything I communicate with you in this video is mainly because I don't know if her name's Liza, but there's somebody I watch on YouTube, and she got me really understanding the responsibility I have to share this. So that's why I'm doing this. Let's talk about it, the present, right? Gratitude in the presence makes the difference of my day. When I tell you, is that better? I don't know. It's so good. And I don't know how to explain it other than if you practice it repeatedly. When I hop in the shower and water falls on my skin, I have my moment of gratitude. When I walk and take in the air through my lungs, I have moments of gratitude. And I recognize what presently? There we go. And I recognize what brings me happiness, peace, joy, life in the present. And I show gratitude for that. And that helps me so much. Now I'm not gonna act like I'm a guru. I'm not gonna act like I have answers. These are just things that help me through. Period. Right? So the beginning. You ever wake up and you feel like you have a fresh start? I find a lot of the times that's after you break a pattern or you start a new habit. And then let's talk about the ending. Sometimes you come to a closure, willingly, unwillingly. Sometimes you run out, you just give everything you can. Sometimes you just showing up and being present, even if you're not exerting yourself, even if you're not trying to prove anything to anyone. You being present says a lot, right? So whether you're coming to a moment or leaving a moment, to be present in that energy, in that flow, in that way of life, however your frequency and momentum is moving, gratitude is the way. And maybe that's what this video is going to be called. In the past, if you've joined this journey along the way, we've done podcasts, we've also done videos, vlogs, there we go, too much. We've done diplomacy art conferences with Ballet Beyond Borders. We've had a lot to talk about. A lot of times I don't have a lot to say unless I've had the time to process through whatever I've done. So normally I have something to express once the experience has happened. And allow time for the beginning, the middle, and the end. When I say that is, allow time for the preparation for when things start. Allow time for your transitions to be present. And allow times for your endings, which are just newer beginnings to me. Allow those moments to be very proactively reflective. No regrets. If there's a regret, learn the lesson that you learned, or process through it so you can get a different perspective of the experience that you partook in. Ooh, I don't know. Sometimes Not sometimes, all the time. You already have the answer within yourself. The variables and the experiences outside of yourself help you either find clarity or completely misunderstand what you already are. So, in this transition I'm in right now, where I'm choosing my ikigai, which is like, I really hope I don't butcher this. We have what you love to do, what you get paid to do, what helps your community, and there's a fourth one. If you know the fourth one, put it down below in the comment. But basically, it's like the unity, the whole being of who you are and how that works, and the fluidity of life. Making sure you get paid, making sure you're taking care of the community, making sure like everything's in flow and in balance of what's needed for today's society. Some expectations higher than other. But my ikigai is to use my expression, my form of art, and my leadership, I guess you could say, to not only tell stories, but teach lessons and to learn lessons. It really is a way of life. It's an art form to study multiple different mediums and multiple different expressions and have the opportunity and the accessibility to either create something worth experiencing and sharing or just learning from someone. Last week, I took a class from Karen McDonald, my modern teacher from when I was young, new tattoo alert, modern teacher from when I was younger, who's been the principal voice in the back of my head for over a decade. She taught me many things through the art form of dance. One, in the transition and in the beginning of things, when you take a moment to walk through a room, stand beneath the door, observe, see what's going on, and then take a step. Because that's the form of preparation in the beginning of things, right? And then we have another lesson she taught me was to relax. And I know that's something so simple, but how can you flow, process, analyze, and be with something if you're not at your neutral state? If you're learning to move and do some choreography, or if you're observing, consuming, or if you're processing all of that, you have to be in a neutral state, right? Because if I come in tense, that experience is different. If I come in too laxed, that experience is different. But if I'm in my neutral state, you have to be like water, Bruce Lee. Another thing she recently taught me was that my perspective on my experience isn't already written and isn't controlled. When I was younger, she used to say, "You're never too young to be phenomenal." And I remember her saying that over and over and over again. And one day after doing a show that later ended up going to like Australia and all whatever, she came after the show and she said that was phenomenal. And that meant the world to me because it's not something that I was chasing, but it's because somebody I respected so much had validation, had validated my accomplishment. The version of me expressing myself was a phenomenal version of myself, was a phenomenal piece of work from her, such a master at her work, who's taught multiple generations, not only in Los Angeles or Hollywood, but I'm talking, she taught my mother, she taught my aunt, she taught levels and multiple generations of dancers and creators and beings on this earth. So not only did she teach me something from the beginning of, I guess, from the early ages of thought, the beginning, the present of training, being in the process of letting go of the older version of you and accepting a newer version of you, but not only that, having reflection and being able to observe and monitor, and that just shows maturity and growth. But she taught me every tense, past, present, and future. And sometimes we forget that the past version of ourselves was the present, and that the future version of ourselves will be eventually be the present. I am extremely grateful for these lessons that Miss McDonald taught me on multiple generations. But most importantly, I'm grateful for the opportunity to share that with you guys. I don't know where these videos are going, but there's this monk philosophy. I guess it's a monk philosophy, a practice, a saying. I had learned from Jay Shetty's book to think like a monk, and that was my knowledge giver, my peer, and my student are of the same. And that means that you will learn from your peer, your knowledge giver, and the student. You will create with the student, the peer, and the knowledge giver. And most importantly, you will teach not only the student, but your peer and your knowledge giver. And we're all of one. So instead of thinking so linear, if we think spherical like that, of growth, of time, and being present, because that part's never going to change if I'm the young kid learning, or if I'm in my 20s trying to create with everyone, or if I'm an elder giving, or even at my age just teaching younger youth or less experienced. Pardon me. The most important thing is to be grateful along the way, because if I have nothing and or everything, it's all perspective. I'm grateful for who I am, what I am, how I am. Most importantly, the person I was in the past, the person I am today, and the person I will become in the future. So gratitude is the way. Thank you, Miss McDonald. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and don't forget, be present not only in your past, your present, but also your future. Prepare. Take that step. Jump if needed. And when I say jump, prepare before you jump, but don't hesitate. Have it ready. Do what's needed. Show up. I'm showing up for myself these days. I might not be accomplishing everything that I want or that's needed of me as in my hand today, in my mind, in my soul, in my experience, but I'm showing up. I'm doing what I can with what I can see, what I can feel, what I can do. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. I guess we're gonna put some music right here.